Good morning. So it is 8:25 on Friday, August 23rd, and I'm having my own birthday party tonight because I'm that level of extra of a Leo and I have to make my own birthday cake. Well, I don't have to. I just think nobody can make a birthday cake for me except for me. And I post so many of my baking things on my Instagram and a lot of people seem into it, so I thought it would be cool to do a baking vlog because I'm not really like a baking blogger or anything in the sense that I can do a really bougie video of everything that I bake, but I can show you the process and what I learned because a lot of the times that I bake, it's the first time I'm trying something and I just have to hope it fucking works out. So we are making an orange funfetti cake with vanilla buttercream and I have 11 hours to do it. So let's see. Oh no. Yeah. 12 hours. I totally could have just bought a cake from a bakery or something and I probably would have spent less money because for my cake I decided to buy $40 worth of sprinkles. They'll last beyond just today because I'm not using that many fucking sprinkles, but I have expensive taste. It's Leo season energy, okay? So I'm using this recipe from Chell Sweets. I really like her Instagram, so I figured I'd try one of her recipes. And she has a funfetti recipe, but it's basically the same as this vanilla cake, just add the sprinkles. So I think I'll be fine. And I've let the butter get to room temperature overnight. Thankfully, I remembered to do that because I did not get drunk last night. And then also let your eggs come to room temperature. And this, because it's a white cake, it just uses egg whites. And I should have just bought egg beaters instead of whole eggs, but I realized that too late. Okay, we've sorted so many ingredients. Here are some of the sprinkles I'm speaking about. I got them at Fancy Sprinkles. I'll put a link below. Maybe if there's a discount code, that would be amazing for you because these are expensive. But I like them. And then I just have these from Michael's. So I like to make my own like custom mix. Like I got this custom mix to start me off, but I'm gonna add stuff to make it more orange. And then this is what's gonna go in the funfetti. And I'm afraid that I don't have enough, but it's okay. This is cool, it's fine. We're great. So I'm making two 9x13 cakes. I only have one pan that has square edges, so I'm gonna make the batter for the whole thing and then bake one at a time. It should be fine. I think it's fine, right? Totally. I got these pre-cut parchment sheets on Amazon, which I think are super worth the money. It makes your baking life so much easier when you just have to lay the parchment down and it fits basically perfectly in the bottom of your pan and it'll let your cake come out perfect. So I'm gonna measure everything in grams because it has the measurements for that, and I just think it's gonna be easier than getting a bunch of measuring cups dirty. So for flour, I need 390 grams. It's gonna take a while, but I like to aerate the flour so it doesn't get too dense. I'm gonna add every single ingredient separately into the mixer before adding them into this bowl. So I'm gonna take this and put it in the mixer. Yes, it's lit. 600 grams. Oh, Jesus Christ, do I have enough? That's a valid concern. I have barely enough. This is so thrilling. Okay, God's plan. That almost gave me a panic attack because then I would have to go to the grocery store right now. So I need a teaspoon of salt, and this is a half tablespoon. Yay, teaspoon. Oh Christ. Okay, good thing I did that over the sink. And then we need 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, not soda. Make sure you're always doing the right baking powder or soda. Okay, 1/2. 1.5. 2. 2.5. Okay, cool. So now we must combine all of these dry ingredients. Oh, Jesus Christ. They're combined. Next, I need to add 2 sticks of butter, room temperature. I let them hang out on the counter overnight in chunks until the batter gets crumbly. It's not really a batter yet, but you know. So I'm just gonna do about tablespoon sized chunks. Put that in there. So it's supposed to have this nice crumbly texture, like it's not wet. It's pretty dry. So I just separated all of the eggs and measured them by grams. And in this recipe, it says a cup of egg whites is about 7 egg whites or 235 grams. So this is 235 grams and it pretty much is a cup equally. I'm probably holding this crooked, so it might look like a little bit more. And for our buttermilk, I'm using this cultured buttermilk blend that you mix with water. Oh, baker's pro tip, mix the dry buttermilk blend with other dry ingredients and then add the appropriate amount of water when the recipe calls for liquid buttermilk. Cool, they didn't tell me that, so I didn't read this, so we'll hope that this turns out okay because I already pre-mixed it as a buttermilk. God damn, this is why we need to read. I'm like, you should probably put that. No, it's my fault. Okay, so I'm gonna pour this in and hope everything turns out okay. Oh, Jesus, she's wet. Next, I'm adding in our oil and our vanilla and almond extracts. My favorite extracts are the Nielsen Massey brand. I've used these ever since I was a kid, and it was cool because they even sent me some recently. Well, actually probably almost a year ago, but I'm still using them. And I really like the almond one, but vanilla's the best. They have a great vanilla bean paste as well, but I'm not using vanilla bean paste because the only thing I want to be visible in the cake is the sprinkles. So our final step is going to be the sprinkles, and I like to hand mix them because you don't really want to break them up with this big ass paddle. So I'm just going to take all of this off. In reality, I shouldn't be using these fancy sprinkles for the inside of the cake since they're going to kind of get baked through, but it's all I have right now. I didn't have time to go anywhere else to get other sprinkles, so we're just going to use the bougie ones. It's fine. It's my birthday. That's the point. Oh god, this is gonna use like the whole thing. I need to save some, so maybe I'll put a little bit less since it will be mixed with other stuff. Oh, that sounds nice. ASMR time. So I've measured the appropriate amount of batter to go in here. So now I'm gonna put it in the oven. And for this pan, it's going to take about 35 to 40 minutes. So panic attack ensues until that's done. So the first half of the cake is out of the oven. And it looks fucking spectacular. Just look at her. It even separated from the sides beautifully, and it's perfectly flat, so I'm not even gonna have to trim the cake. It's gonna be so easy to decorate. But now I have to do the scariest task of taking the cake out of the pan because I have to make the other cake immediately because I have an event in like an hour. So I'm gonna use this offset spatula. Offset! And kind of just tap around the edges, even though it looks super solid, just because I have anxiety. And this is the scary part where you do the flip. Hello, there we go. Oh bitch, yes. Hell yeah. So then what I do, Just peel this baby off. Yes! Okay, wow. Look at her, this is amazing. I'm letting this cool while the other cake bakes. I kind of wanted a taller cake, so I was kind of considering making another batch, but I think it might be too tall with the frosting. I think with frosting, it'll probably get to be about this high, so I think that's tall enough. Last one. I'm gonna let it sit for a second before I take it out of the pan, but I have to go to this event, so she's gonna be chilling here for a while. The other one's in the fridge. When I get back, I'm gonna get some work done because it's a Friday, and then start on the frosting, because once these are fully cool, we'll be good to go. And oop indeed, Jesus Christ. Get this pan out of the way. That happened, that was fine. And that's why we use metal pans and not glass. So, I've come to a decision, and I've decided that I need to make another cake. It's not going to be tall enough for me because Daddy wants a big cake. So I mixed the dry ingredients, added the butter, added the wet ingredients, mixed it all up, put it in the pan, and put it in the oven and hope for the best. It's 2 p.m. I'm finally done making the cake itself, not the frosting. We haven't even started that yet. Here's what we're working with. I'm also working because I have a job, so have to do that. And the second 2 layers are going to be plain orange. Nice aesthetic going on right here because I don't have enough sprinkles to do funfetti, so it's going to be kind of layered, stacked. You know, I think it's going to be fucking cool. But I did kind of rip one of the cake things in half a little bit, so I hope that it's a 4-layer cake and not a 3-layer cake, but we'll see. It's better than a 1-layer cake. And when I make the frosting, I'm gonna do just the traditional white, and then I'm gonna do orange too to decorate, but I'm not gonna worry about it for the inside because I didn't want to worry about that. So I'm gonna make the white frosting, use what I need of the white. If there's some left over, well, there will be left over, divide it and then dye it orange. Hi guys, just wrapped my meeting and now I'm like hating how my hair is looking, so I think I'm gonna take a shower before I get on this frosting and stacking the cake because my hair has to look good. The cake is not the only thing that has to look good. This is what 8 sticks of butter looks like, in case anybody was curious. I never used one of these before, I guess. Sounds mildly disgusting. Now it's time to incorporate all of this just casual amount of powdered sugar. I hope I don't need all of this, or all of the icing, because that's a lot of icing, but we're gonna do it. And I have this little cover so it doesn't splash around. It just did anyway, so that was cool. I'm also gonna add some of the cream. So my KitchenAid is not big enough. I can't fit all of the powdered sugar, but I'm almost there. So I feel like I'm just gonna do the crumb coat of the cake, put it all together, do a thin layer with that frosting, add the rest of the sugar to the remaining part of the frosting, and then it'll probably be fine. Because I tasted it and it tastes good. I just added some clear vanilla extract so it didn't change the color, and then some salt as well. It's still very sweet, it's not too buttery, so I think we'll be good. I think we're time to assemble. These have been in the fridge for a while, so they're pretty firm. I'm gonna go the side that I baked it on, side down, so it has a flat surface on a flat surface. Place it in the middle of the cake board. Jesus, that makes me really nervous to do, but turned out well. It's because these are so thin. That's why I was like, I want to make more because it was so thin. Oh, that's centered out really nicely. So there we go, first layer down. So some good tools that you will need to decorate any sort of layer cake. I know I'm not in focus and there's a tiny rat dog barking, but it's fine.
A bench scraper is great to get the edges when it's tall and finished and you're smoothing them out. It's more important for the final layer because this is just going to be the crumb coat. And then an offset spatula. I have a big and small. Offset. And then also a straight spatula is pretty helpful too. And I'll see if I come up with any other tricks along the way. I know some people use a piping bag for their layers, but I'm pretty basic. I'm just gonna do a pretty decent layer, but not too thin, because this is gonna be the filling, so you need a separation between the fillings, or between the layers, but you don't want it to ooze at the same time. And the pedestal thing or turntable is really cool because you can just kind of turn it around. And I know there's bougier ones, but mine's just plastic from Amazon. I have an Amazon thing for like kitchen stuff, so I'll link it below. Hopefully it'll help you. So adding the next layer is always the scariest part, and I already ripped part of this cake trying to transfer it, so I decided that I'm going to triage all of these cakes by sliding them instead of lifting them with my hands, because they're so thin that it is pretty fragile. So I'm kind of just gonna, oh Jesus, it's stuck. Help me. This can't go wrong now. We've only just begun. Well, the only other thing I can think of is just doing this, so that's what we're gonna do. Oh no, it totally broke. Oh no, it's not that bad. Okay, I'm being dramatic. Leo season energy. It didn't go as planned, but I also feel like it could have been worse. I feel like 2 layers would have been not enough and 3 layers is like perfect, but I have this other cake, so I'm gonna put it on and see what happens. I might run out of frosting to decorate, but that's what sprinkles are for. So I'm gonna add this last layer, and the reason why I'm showing you the last layer is because it's important to put the flat side on the top layer. It's all pretty flat, but you need the side that was touching the baking sheet to be on top, which I'll show you. For this cake, you can see the raised edges of the fact that this was how the cake was baked. So I need to flip it onto this one, but I think I'm actually gonna flip the physical cake instead of doing this. Actually, I felt pretty good about the last time that I did that, so maybe I could do it again. Yeah, fuck it, I did it. Oh, whenever it's like fresher out of the fridge, oh, she's cracking. It's easier to manipulate it, but if you leave it out, which you should not, it'll get soft again, but it's still delicate. It's a fucking cake. So you can see I have kind of like a big hump in the middle. So because I didn't like trim off any of the excess, I'm kind of gonna cheat the system by trimming it this last part. For this, I kind of just eyeball it with this big ass knife and just start zigzagging over the cake. It's not gonna be that great because I didn't do this like in the beginning, but I didn't really think I had to. Tall. Jesus, crumbs everywhere. Let's hope I don't ruin this cake by cutting it, but I think it'll be fine. Then just transfer that to that side. And that's what the inside of it looks like. Yay. Taste test. She is buttery. Oh, it's like very lopsided. But as long as it looks good from one side, that's all you need. Okay, so here is the level we are working with now. It's fucking massive, but good. I should have filmed the crumb coat. This is like a half-assed crumb coat, but since I didn't have to cut anything besides the top, I feel like I don't have to crumb coat the whole thing. Bottom is the hardest part. That's why I like to have multiple offset spatulas, and I'm mostly doing this like this so you could see what I'm doing. Otherwise I would be doing it towards me, but you know. And especially whenever you're crumb coating, it's really important to like have a separate bowl, and then you could just wipe the edge off on that, because if you're dipping a spatula that has cake crumbs on it into clean white frosting, you're gonna dirty it up. So now I've done all of the sides to the point where they're covered enough and there's no visible cake, and the next step is gonna be to use this bench scraper to even out all of the sides. And sometimes I like to heat it up. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that quite yet. It's easier when it's a round cake, but I'm not trying to, like, that was the first pass of the bench scraper. Sometimes I like to heat it up, but it just depends on my mood, and then make sure to scrape off the excess every time. I'm not going for like perfection here. I'm just trying to make this fucking cake. Some people can make their buttercream so smooth. It's insane to me, but I don't really care as much about that. I just care about how it photographs and how it tastes. And I just do this as a hobby, so there's that too. So whenever you see like big pockets of air like that, it's because the frosting isn't even. So you just kind of fill in the hole, and then you can redo it, and that will hopefully go away for the most part. So here is the tea on what I'm going to be decorating with. This is a ganache with candy melts to do drips. These are all of these cool tips. This is a 1M Wilton 2A, just the circle one. This is to write. It's a number 3. This is 2D. It's like a star. This is 2B, no 4B. I'm gonna mix some of these sprinkles together just so I have like a mix, but then I'll just kind of do the rest by itself. Oh, I forgot that these are sealed for my protection. Oh, Jesus. Too white, we need a lot of orange. A few of these balls. Then these, I think I'm mostly gonna put on by hand and like decide where they go. Cool. So first, I will say the box from the top of the cake box screwed this up because this cake is taller than anticipated. That's fine, I'm gonna make this work. I have my ganache for the drips. For the ganache strips, you just kind of let them hang out there. I'll put a recipe below since I didn't film myself doing it, but I'm just like, it's getting kind of late. There's a lot of tutorials too. You kind of just let them go. So this is candy melts and cream and food coloring. So the candy melts are gonna harden, so it's not gonna be like goo this entire time. And it's gonna cover this drip mess. So with a 1M tip, you kind of just start in the middle and make a little start, and then you go around it. Ooh, that turned out real fun and fresh. I never used this before. I like it. Feeling like a professional. Love that for me. This one is a 4B, and it makes like a fun little star moment. So you can just kind of go boop. It's really cutie. I love her. Here, here, here. This part gives me anxiety. I think it's gonna be RIP Leo season. Or should it be RIP Leo season? So by tracing this, I feel a bit better. So I'm gonna go in with that number 3 and just trace what I just did. That got wonky. Still looks better than anything I've ever done. It's fine. Oh, this view is much better. I'm sorry for being a flop, but here we go. I'm gonna put another rosette right here. So let's fucking go for it. Oh, the problem with when you refrigerate the icing is that it gets hard. So I think I need to do a hand tweezer moment for all of this. Like, what? Okay, so the border's done. I'm into it. I'm gonna get my tweezers and start tweezing, because then I can also hand do little dots and put sprinkles down individually and hope for the best. Small gold boy. there. This is not perfect, but it'll do. That'll do, pig. That will do. Oh shit balls. That was not good for me. It's not the best. It's kind of a clusterfuck, but I kind of love it at the same time. I wish I had used more sprinkles because I spent so much money on them, but it looks pretty cute. Hey guys, that's it. I hope this was helpful to show you my process, because I kind of just experiment and see what sticks. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!